G'day YouTube, I've got sitting behind me a brand new Triumph bobber. This thing rolled into us with merely a few hundred Ks on it. We've taken it apart, put a bunch of mad stuff on it, and now it's a purpose-built Moto custom. I'm Tom Gilroy, you're in the PBM garage. Let's get into another build rundown. Start at the beginning, shall we? When we got this bike, it came in to get a few measurements, and then we contacted Canyon Wheels in the US to get us a wide wheel kit. Now this is actually the world's first wide wheel bobber. There's actually no one else that I've known that has actually put wide wheels on a Triumph bobber like this. We're actually 100% the first. No one else has ever done this ever. This bike is running a set of Pirelli Angel GT tyres. We sent our client the Pirelli catalogue and he came back with those. So we're running a 160 on the front, 180 on the rear, both 17-inch. Thanks again to Pirelli for sponsoring today's video. We've been using a lot of their stuff, so if you need a new pair of tyres for your bike, I highly recommend you jump on the Pirelli Australia website, have a shop around for what you need and get in touch with your local dealer. Now moving on with this wide wheel kit. So obviously we've got the big wide triple clamp so we can fit the fat front tyre. With that also came in the kit from Canyon Motorcycles was a Golfer brake rotor upgrade. So that's happened front and rear. And also the offset sprockets that you need on the rear, which I'll run you through when we get onto the tail end. Finishing out the front end on this bike, there wasn't all that much to do. I think with a Triumph bobber like this, the simpler the better, but you do have to deal with a few legalities when you're doing bikes like this, so a front fender was of course needed. We fitted a custom handmade fender, so we don't make fenders this big, so we just jumped on the English wheel and rolled one out onto a really nice sort of stainless steel finished bracket, and then that's been painted in a brushed silver to go over that really beautiful candied greeny blue that Nathan's done up for us. That was sort of rounding out the front. The detailing on the fender section was just sort of made to match in with the rear fender. I'll sort of run you through the idea on that one, but that was done first and then this was made to match in a nice clean fashion, just sort of like had to get done what we had to get done and make sure that this was going to be legal. And then we've also matched in our factory headlight. On the front end, our lights here, we're using a black hollow tip LED turn signal tucked in behind the forks. And because these forks are just so wide, you can have them jammed right up against the fork tubes and they're still legal width. So coming back up to the handlebars, predominantly this is all the factory gear. We didn't want to go too heavy on this one. What we have changed out though is the grips. So we've used a set of Biltwell grips, really nice setup here. And then our new Scrambler mirror bar end mirror kit. So you'll recognize our Scrambler mirror. We've just done a few upgrades and re-released this. So you can grab those on pre-sale in our store right now, or if you're watching this after it's been released, they'll be in stock. And then we've released this all new bar end mirror kit. So what this is a kit of spacers and a bar end cap that allows you to mount the Scrambler mirror on your bar end and either tuck it in or you can swing it out this way or you have it on top or bottom. A really adaptable thing. When I'm designing these parts, I try to make sure that we cover as many bases as possible because I don't like making all of our bikes look exactly the same, so I don't like using our parts in the same way all that too often. So whatever sort of style bike you're riding, however you want to do it, this kit allows you to make it your own, get your own custom fitment, because that's what building a custom bike is all about. So if you want more details, I'll chuck a link in the video description. You can check these mirrors out and the new kits. They come sold individually and you can hang them off your lever mounts or get the bar end kit and have fun with that in your garage. Moving on to the rear tire and fender. So once we fitted up the 17-inch rear, we're running a 180 tire on the back. So that means it's a 5.5-inch rim. We've got our offset sprockets on front and back here, got all that alignment finished up, bolted it in, run the new chain, and then we started on our rear fender fab. Now, this was a fender blank that I bought, sort of like a chopper fender, but it was incorrectly radiused and didn't have the right profile, so I had to reshape it anyway. And I think in the end, it probably would have been easier if I just made one from scratch, but you know, we were sort of halfway down the road already. So a bit of shrinking on the edges here and then running it on the wheel to get that nice profile over the tire and the fitment that we needed to mount it onto the swing arm. With this mount, I mean, it was complex to make, but I wanted it to look simple. I didn't want to have anything sort of hanging off the swing arm because we had to have a swing arm mounted number plate bracket. So what we ended up doing was utilizing the factory mount on the swing arm here and then adding a couple of extra mounts on the top here. This here is a plate of mild steel that we've welded onto the fender blank. So that's been shaped up by hand, cut out. I just sort of like sat the fender there, templated up a shape that I like the look of, made it and added a bit of detailing there. Nathan from Livin' Loco, when he came to do the paint, actually painted these and then did a really nice effect on them that you'll see closely on the tank. It's like a brushed metal finish. I don't know how exactly he's achieved that, but really nice touch on top of that candy green. Further fabrication on the back end was our plate mount bracket. So again, we've used our Orbit mini indicator lights. These have just been E-marked approved. They're about to come out. We're just going through final prototyping and getting the production done for you guys, so they'll be on the shelves ultra soon. Really nice alternative to our hollow tip or dome indicators, a real small option and really adaptable too. These things can sort of fit anywhere on your bike, and they're again built to use however you want them. We try to, you know, give you the little products, but they're not bolt on and they're not specifically made for bikes. So use them how you want and get creative with it. That's the whole idea. This is a real simple bar mount, so some chromoly tube. We've hidden the wiring inside. It runs off on the brake side. Plate mount, indicators and brake lights also in these little Omni mini lights. So that's about all I can really say about that. Again, just, you know, we just try to keep this thing simple. The clean lines that Triumph give you with the bobber, they shouldn't be messed with too much. So, you know, it's a great bike, and the more you take off it, the better it looks. But with the work that we've done, it's about as minimal as you can get with still having it street legal. Performance-wise on this bike, we've put a DNA Filters air intake kit on it. So that's just a standard replacement part you can bolt into your factory airbox. It just increases your airflow. So with that, and our custom-made exhaust, what we've done here is make a 2-into-2 exhaust. So the left-hand side header actually drops down and crosses over where the old catalytic converter used to be. So that's been done away with, sweeps underneath the motor, and then gives you this incredible effect of the 2 shotgun pipes running down the right-hand side here. We've made an oversized 2-inch header, and you've got a muffler section that runs the length of this pipe here, and then we've also made a nice little turnout with a custom little, I don't know, it's not really a slash cut, we've just sort of added a nice detail there. It's a pretty cool little like modern touch, I think, rather than just sort of cutting it on an angle. I feel like that'd be a little bit old school for this sort of bike. So yeah, ultra nice job there. That's just been finished in a brush finish, and you've got that nice straw gold color coming through after a few of our test rides and also the run on the dyno. So with the exhaust and the DNA intake, we sent this thing when it was finished up to Jamie at Dynamite Moto, our dyno tune experts. They got 82 horsepower out of this thing at peak of about 6,500 RPM, and it runs about 80 Newton meters of torque too. So nice fun ride. You got plenty of juice there on a pretty small and nimble little bike. Other things that we've done here, apart from the paint, which I'll run you through last, was we've sort of recovered the factory seat. This shape wasn't really messed with at all, and Jamo was super happy from Timeless Auto Trim about this. If you have a look at the close-ups that he got on the diamonds, it's always nice when something works out so perfectly. So he's absolutely nailed this cover for us in a nice Alcantara diamond stitch pattern, and then we've just bolted it back together on the standard seat plate, chucked it on the bike. Now, the paint design. I went over to Nathan. The rider of this bike sort of said to us he had a few colors in mind and really loved this sort of like metallic tealy green. It's a bit of an odd color, you can't really put your finger on it, and it's one of those ones that, depending on who you ask, they'll tell you it's green or blue. But Nathan's gone and custom mixed a couple of different candy colors to get to this point. In the sun, it sort of has a really nice bluey purple tint to it and really pops in the sun. So we've just tried to sort of accentuate the design of this bobber because apart from the handmade fenders, the bodywork it's all stock. So we're sort of just working with the shapes that Triumph has given us here. Used a nice modern styling, sort of like a Yamaha speed block setup. So that's been done in a nice thick silver pinstripe, which separates the candy blue or green with the matte black that we've gone with. This sort of ties in a lot of the really nice details. You know, working on this bike, a brand new Triumph, you can just sort of see how much time and effort that Triumph puts into these motorcycles to make the finishes incredible. Like, you know that a bike's built well is when you've taken stuff off and the things that aren't normally seen are done to such a high standard. It's really incredible to see like just how well these bikes are finished off. So playing with the matte black finishes from the engine, that sort of told the story that we had to go with a matte black on the custom wheels that we've got from Canyon, and then we've also worked that color in with the candy green that our rider wanted. So the overall result on this bike, it was a pretty quick in and out project for us guys, but this thing's an incredible ride. It's really nimble and super fun around town. I don't know how it'd go on sort of longer journeys. It's not really sort of built for that with your low bars and, you know, the pretty sporty seating position. But yeah, ultimate to rip around on. And then with the stance that we've created with this wide wheel kit, ultimate. And I'm glad we're the first ones in the world to ever do a wide wheel bobber. All right, let me start this thing up for you guys now. You'll get a bit of a GoPro test ride on this thing. I'm just gonna cruise it around a nice country road. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us on this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, sounds so good. Purpose-Built Moto's built a great community of both riders and builders around what we do. Whether you love our builds, you use our parts on your project, or you're just here for the content that we create on social media, thanks for being part of our tribe. Next time you're in the garage planning out your build, or you're just tinkering around, make sure you jump on to purposebuiltmoto.com, support the cause and grab a few parts for your pride and joy.